Hello and welcome to the Never Yield podcast. Today is Friday, September 12th, and it is game day eve. Tomorrow at 6 p.m. on the mothership, ESPN, the Hogs and the Rebels will face off at Vaught Hemingway Stadium in Oxford. On today's show, we will have two very special guests with Ole Miss ties to kind of break down the game for us from the Ole Miss perspective. We'll have our hot seats, our shout outs, our betting picks, and we will preview the matchup with the Rebels. Andrew, what's new, brother?
Man, just ready to get to the weekend. It's been a long, crazy week, so excited to have our first SEC matchup. It's time for big boy football. We've had two, kind of minuscule opponents, and so ready to get to the real deal where you got a big chance to get your heart ripped out or to be really excited. So excited to get it going.
A lot of questions to be answered.
Yes.
I think the worst case scenario for us would be a heartbreak game. I would
Hmm.
almost wish we'd just win or get beat by 14, not not have the lead with 30 seconds to go and then them go score, kick a game-winning field goal. Like, we've just had too much of that in our life.
Yeah.
But I mean, I hope Taylor shows up and dude, he's been getting a lot of national pub,
Yeah.
and he was on Sports Center, and people have been putting him in their top 10 Heisman rankings, and so we'll really see tomorrow what if that's all legit or if it's all just because of the lack of competition. Our defense, man, I hope our defense is hungry. After what Ole Miss did to us last year, I
Yeah.
know most of them aren't here that were here last year, but Sam Pittman was here and Travis Williams was here, and all of our coordinators are back. And
Yeah.
man, just because pride and how here's the deal. Here's the deal with Lane. Not only did he beat us, he made us like it.
Yeah.
I mean, he was throwing the ball 40, 50 yards down the field up 35 in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
And so, which I mean, hey, it's SEC football. I don't care that he does that. But as a player, I mean, I'm gonna try to get my back the next year. I know that.
Yeah. Let me ask you if you if you had to lose a game like this, your first SEC game, it's a big way to start the season. If you can start 3-0, it propels you into a huge possibility for the year. You got a great chance to be 4-0 hosting Notre Dame. You win that game, that could propel you into the bye week, and you could be healthy. Could set you up great. But if you lose this game, do you want it to be like a heart rip out, or would you rather it, just be like last year and lose by 20, 30?
Well, I know that when the schedule dropped, I could even say a month ago, when I'm circling and picking wins, I really never thought we would win this game.
Mm-hmm.
And now that it's here
Mm-hmm.
and we beat up on a couple cupcakes, I'm getting a little giddy thinking we may be a little better than I thought. We might just be, I don't want to say legit, but that we belong, middle tier of the SEC maybe. And
Yeah.
so this is one that Sam needs.
Mm.
Um, I mean, it's not going to make or break, he's not getting fired if he loses this game, but just for the projectile of the season, and just the atmosphere and the vibes of the program, I think going into Oxford and pulling this win out, I think it would be huge for him and the team morale, like you said, and I can't do another heartbreak. I mean, we had heartbreak in Omaha this year. We had
Mm.
heartbreak in the Sweet 16 against Texas Tech in basketball,
Yeah.
and I can't do another 54-yard field goal to get beat and have to listen to Josh Alford, who we'll have on later in the pod, in my and hit me up about it for the rest of my
Yeah.
life. So
Yeah. No, I get that. I I think it'd be a great way to like I said, propel your season to have a special kind of year. Kind of reminds me of what year was that? Like 2002, I think, when we went down to Texas. Nobody was expecting us to beat them. I think
uh
they were ranked like number 4. And we
maybe
beat
'03,
them
the
number 2.
ambush in Austin.
Yeah, and we won 38-28, and nobody expected us to. Matt Jones and Cedric Hobbs put it on them,
Mhm.
and I think we started off 4-0 that year and got up to like number 7 in the country, starting unranked. And so I think this is an opportunity to kind of start off a special season there. And yeah, it'd be really nice to go down there and get a win. And like we said on the Tuesday pod, that I think Ole Miss feels a little more gettable than they did in the preseason. So I had
Mhm.
us losing this one in the preseason, but I feel a little bit better about it now on game day eve. So we'll see what happens.
Well, even just a couple years ago, whenever we started 4-0, we went down and beat Texas A&M, and we're in the top 10 and went to Georgia, and game day was there, and I mean, we got crushed that game, but we were in the top 10, and game day was covering our game, like,
Right.
just because we got that first big win, and it does, it propels your season, and so hopefully we can do that, and I mean, if we beat Ole Miss, I mean, which I think is very doable. I mean, this season's not a success, but we're already a step ahead of where almost every Arkansan thought we would be,
Yeah.
because the expectations for this year were not very high. So
Yeah. I think probably 95% of Arkansas fans had us 3-1 going into the Notre Dame game. So
yeah, yeah. Real quick, just kind of going around the country. We got it's a decent slate of games. I wouldn't say it's elite, but it's decent. One I'm looking at obviously is Georgia going into Neyland and playing Tennessee. I still think those two teams have a lot of question marks. Georgia's not looked great. Tennessee's maybe looked a little better than what we thought. I mean, yeah, I'll be very curious to see how Georgia Tennessee plays out. Florida going to LSU. That's a prime sleepy spot
mhm.
for LSU.
Yeah.
Florida coming off that terrible loss, Billy Napier's, rear ends on fire.
Mhm.
Um, I, I mean, I'm not gonna say Florida win the game, but I would not be surprised if Florida goes in there and keeps it really, really close, or maybe pulls out a victory.
Yeah, I agree. Everybody's been on Billy Napier and saying that it's the end for him, and we're just playing out the season, or how long does he last the rest of the way? And so I think if he could get this win on his resume, it kind of cool the seat a little, maybe not entirely, but I think it would cool it a little bit. And I mean, anytime you can make Brian Kelly unhappy, I'm all for it.
And right, and then a sneaky game. Diego Pavia and the
Yeah,
Fighting Commodores going into Bryce Williams and taking on the South Carolina Gamecocks. That one's intriguing to me.
yeah,
Um,
that's a sneaky good game.
yeah, I think
I
I
think
think
it should be
South
a ranked
Carolina is
game.
overrated.
They didn't rank Vanderbilt this week. I really thought Vanderbilt should have been ranked.
Yeah, I think South Carolina is overrated. I think I said that in one of the first couple of pods. I think they're a fraud. I think Shane Beamer's a fraud. I think Vanderbilt goes in and wins that game. I'm kind of surprised that they're was it 4.5 underdogs maybe. I look at Vandy to go win that game. And then the last one obviously is A&M going to Notre Dame.
Yep.
Uh, Notre Dame's kind of, they don't have as much cushion to play with now that they got beat that first game at Miami. So
Right.
I'll be curious to see kind of, they got, their schedules. That's tough. They got A&M. They come to Arkansas. They got USC coming up. So I'll be very curious to keep tabs on that game.
Oh, for sure. Big season implications for us. I'd much rather see Notre Dame come in with one loss than two losses coming to Fayetteville.
Hmm.
Just for the pure excitement of that game. I mean, it'd be the one year that we're 4-0 going into that game, and they come in with like two losses and then probably upset us or something. So yeah, it's big implications in that one. A&M is going to be looking for their first big signature win of the year. So yeah, that'll be an interesting one to keep an eye on for sure.
Yep, should be a good day of football. It'll be able to kick up and sit back and fire up the Blackstone and
Absolutely.
turn on the patio TV and just watch ball all day. I cannot
Yes.
wait.
Yes.
All right, hot seats. I'll let you go first. Who's your hot seat?
Okay. I'm only coming with one today, and it's really not even like a current event thing. This is just something I've been saying for a while. I'm putting the athletic administration in regards to the universal Arkansas logos on the hot seat. And I'll explain that. So we have a lot of really cool logos. I love this, the running through the A logo
Mhm.
that we used to wear on the basketball shorts. I love the slobber hog. But those two are primarily and saved for basketball only. And I've never understood why. Like why we can't have the logos going across all sports. You're going to tell me that people wouldn't freak out over like a slobber hog helmet or like an oversized running through the A helmet. And then also too, I'm going to put our football jerseys on the hot seat. I love what we're doing right now. I love like the DMAC era jerseys. But I just think Arkansas being a school that in the position where we're at, I feel like we don't need to, or we can't only rely on like just the traditional kind of looking jerseys. I think that there's opportunity for, and this kind of goes with like my game day experience thing. Like I think we could really improve and have some really sweet uniforms that we're missing out on. And so it kind of all ties together. But I would love to be able to use like sports specific Arkansas logos across all sports. So
I mean, if you had to pick one,
mhm,
if you had to pick one logo to go on the middle of the basketball court, football helmet, the baseball hat, whatever, what
mhm.
would the one logo be?
I only get one.
You only get one.
Gosh, it's tough. I mean, if you only get one, I mean the standard one is good. I mean, it's not a bad logo at all by any stretch. But man, the slobber hog or the A running through the A, those are my two. Those are my two favorites. I'd probably do a coin flip on that. Probably the running through the A would kind of be more universally nice looking logo, I guess, at midfield, at center court,
Mhm.
whatever. But I just think I think there's opportunity there. I also hate. Let me also say I'm gonna put on the hot seat. I've hated for years what I call the Jeff Long font, which is the font that they have like in the end zones and on the baseboard. And
Mhm.
basketball uses it a lot. Luckily, baseball and football have gotten rid of it, but basketball still uses it a lot, where it has like the little angles in it or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've never liked the font, especially the numbers that are tied to that font, like the bubbly looking zeros and eights and stuff
Yeah.
and ones. Like I think it looks terrible. So that's my hot seat for the week. And I could when in the off season I'll have a rant even
I
more
feel
about
like I mean, yeah, I'm with you. I feel like we're leaving prime opportunities, just throwing them to waste. It's just really unique because you're gonna piss off a bunch of people if you go the route that we wanna go, where
yeah.
it's getting crazy with your jerseys, and I'm not saying get Oregon crazy maybe or Maryland crazy, but, like, I feel like there's a lot of room for us to grow in that and kinda get wild and,
Oh, for
get
sure.
seen, get talked about, but them old heads, them old heads, they
Well, I'm like,
they think
what traditions are
they
we
think
hanging
we're
on to? We get
Alabama. They
yeah,
think we're Alabama.
yeah, I mean, like, what traditions are we hanging on to? We have one self-claimed shared national championship in 1964. Like, what traditions are we hanging on to? It's not like we've been world beaters
Yeah,
like for the past 30 years. So I
yeah.
think there's opportunity to get like recruits excited to come to get like if you have a black jersey with a slobber hog helmet, like I think I think that would go hard. Or like the oversized running through the A
I'm
on one side, numbers on the other side. Get me in the
I'm
program. Get me
sh
in the program, Hunter. Okay.
I'm shocked that we have not pulled out a black jersey, we had the anthracite stuff,
Yeah.
but, like, why, if we ever are good enough to get a night game,
Yeah.
why would we not just come out blackout Razorback Stadium, and dude, that would be insane.
Oh, I think it'd be sweet. Like the Tennessee smoke jerseys or whatever that they
Yeah,
had. Dude,
yeah,
those were elite. Like we could and dude, it would look so good with the red and the yeah.
yeah.
Sign me up.
Between our jerseys, our logos, and did you see the Auburn end of the 3rd quarter of the Auburn game, going around Twitter? Dude, they turned the lights off and they had this hype video Just talking
Don't
about Jordan Hare and like the orange and blue lights is all that's on in the whole stadium. Like I'm
don't show
like,
it.
dude, we are so far behind on
Yeah,
game day atmosphere,
yeah. I
which
think the
we've
coolest
already
Yeah, I think the coolest thing we did last year was, I think it was the Tennessee game. They did the Houston Nutt speech, like, going
uh
into the 4th quarter, and dude,
yeah.
I was ready to suit up and go
Mhm.
right then. So I was like,
Yeah.
"Let's take that speech," and they didn't play it Alabama A&M, which I guess, there wasn't a need for it, but I think you play that, you find your song, Arkansas find your song, and then pair it with that speech and play it pregame, like, before the run out,
Mhm.
and then let them run out to that and see if we're not hyped and ready to go.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. All right, my first hot seat, actually my only hot seat. Dude, it's been a week. Man, my first hot seat is just hate.
Mhm.
Uh,
I
my
know for
boy,
I could have put that on
my
mine.
my boy Charlie Kirk. Most of y'all probably know he got shot and killed in mid daylight. Um, and man, it's a scary place out there right now. And the amount of hate and evil we have, man, we just gotta be better. We gotta be better as
Yeah,
a country. We gotta be better as a world. We gotta be better as humans. I was a huge fan of Charlie, and this is not political. Like killing
right,
people is not political.
right.
Um, but man, he was a 31-year-old father of two, conservative Christian political activist that built his own company from nothing. The ultimate capitalist entrepreneur is
Mm,
like a 17, 18-year-old guy. And man, like for his voice, like he what he did was he goes to college campuses and he just debates people.
mhm,
Like that's how he gets his word out. He doesn't go protest in the middle of streets and stop traffic. He doesn't go throw smoke bombs at police officers to get his voice out. He doesn't go burn down stores or loot. Dude, he just goes to college campuses and just says, "Hey, let's talk about it."
yeah,
And the fact that someone would just go shoot him in broad daylight, and it's not just him. That poor girl was just stabbed on the bus in Charlotte. Um, Man, it's scary right now. We had that stabbing in Devil's Den real close to home.
right,
2 kids lost 2 parents. Um, it's just a scary world, right? We had the school shooting up in Minnesota. 2 elementary school kids got shot. Dude, my hot seat's just, man, we just gotta be better. Like, we gotta
yeah,
be better people. We need a reckoning in this country. We need a lot of God. We need to get the family model back.
yeah,
Um, Man, it's been a tough week for your boy
yeah,
because Charlie was one of my dudes. So,
yeah,
and then Twitter and social media just makes everything worse. If
right,
this happened 15 years ago, it's just on the news and you're really sad. But now you see one side of it's, glorifying that he was shot and killed
mhm.
and making light out of it. And it just pisses me off. So,
No, I
man, we just gotta be better before it's too late. We just gotta get better. And I'm not losing faith in our country. I mean, we're
yeah,
about to hit our 250th birthday
yeah,
as the United States of America, and if we want 250 more, we gotta get our heads on straight. We gotta start loving people and not just killing people for no reason.
right. No, absolutely. Obviously uh, our hearts and our prayers go out to the Kirk family and just the country as a whole. Obviously, just a sad week that was completely unnecessary and gosh, I mean, yeah, your heart just breaks that a young wife and a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old uh, don't get to don't get to have to put their head on the pillow without their husband and their father this week. Like I can't even imagine that conversation. And so, yeah, obviously, we just, yeah, our prayers go out, and country's gotta do better. Just because you disagree doesn't mean that you have to go to these extremes. That's your right to exercise your free speech, and that's what makes this country great. And differing opinions and talking through them, which is what his whole
That's what he did. Yeah.
and his whole motivation was to go to these campuses to educate people or just to, make them think a little differently and or outside of, what they've, what they think their core beliefs were and say.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's a quote that I've loved. I love to study great coaches, and John Wooden was one of my favorite coaches to study. He had a quote that said, "I don't know what the future holds, but I know who holds the future, and that's good enough for me." And so I always thought that was a great quote. And yeah, I mean,
It's just happening too much. They tried to shoot our president twice. The thing about Charlie was he had his opinions, and his family is set up for life because of what he built,
yeah,
but he did it by just hearing, conversing, debating back and forth. There was a today at the rally, there was a transsexual flag, up there, and he said instead of him berating him and talking him down, he said, "Hey, y'all come down here and let's talk."
hmm
Like, that's what he wants to do, and so that's what's so frustrating about it, is because he was trying to do it the right way,
yeah,
and, there's over 3,000 of his Turning Point USA, on different college and high school campuses, and so, he made a difference,
for
and
sure.
he got his word out, and it's just he was a threat, you know? He was
Yeah,
a threat, and that's why they try to kill people who are threats.
yeah,
That's why they tried to kill Donald Trump. That's why they did kill Charlie Kirk, is because he was a threat and his message was resonating with too many people, so they tried to silence him. But if I have any advice, we can't be silenced, no matter what side of the aisle you're on. Like, it's the freedom of speech, and so don't be silenced. Don't be scared to speak your truth, because you're just giving them what they want. When they do all this, and when they find old fella, the sheriff said today, he said the death penalty is still a thing in Utah,
yeah,
and I hope he gets an electric chair or something,
yeah.
because I hate it for his family and his kids.
Yeah.
Anyways, not to get somber, but that was something that was close to my heart today, and it was something that needed to be on the hot seat. Hate, man. Nothing to
Yeah,
do with politics. Just hate.
yeah,
Love
absolutely.
people. Don't hate.
Yeah.
My first shout out is going to be the SEC, because they gave Arkansas the cupcake of baseball schedules that was
Ah,
released this week.
yes.
Um, Man, which it kind of sucks, because if there's one sport we don't need the easy schedule, it's
Right.
baseball.
Right.
And I mean, I wish I could have done it for football, but yeah, no LSU, no Tennessee, no Vanderbilt.
No
I mean,
Texas.
no Texas.
Yeah.
I mean, so after all these years of us calling the SEC all the names in the book that we've called them, and how they're
Yeah.
out to get Arkansas, the SEC hates Arkansas. They finally took care of us in the wrong sport.
Yeah, excited about that schedule. It should be if we can just play up to our talent level, we should be able to get through it pretty
Yeah.
easily.
If we're half as good as we have been in baseball, we may set the record for most SEC wins in a season
Yeah.
with that cupcake of a schedule they gave us.
Yeah, I'll just I'll shout out my Eagles being 1-0. We're
Oh, it was
count
close though.
it was closer than it needed to be. We had a little spitting match after the opening kick, but they got the job done. They got the job done. Now my fantasy team, I'm in 2 leagues this year, 0-2, so we're not off to a
Mm,
great start there, but,
mm.
yeah,
Get that pitching wedge ready.
I know. I know. Yes. Yes,
Uh,
I'm well on my way there, but no, the life is, it's good in the sports world right now. Arkansas's 2-0, Eagles 1-0. We'll take it. We'll take it.
yeah, yeah, for sure. I guess at this time we will bring in Josh and Justin to talk about the Ole Miss perspective. I have on two very special guests. Ole Miss insiders is what we'll call them. We have Josh Alford. Josh lives in Mississippi, used to coach high school football in Arkansas and Mississippi. He is an 18-year season ticket holder for the Rebels, or Black Bears, or Sharks, or whatever y'all call yourselves now. Then we have Justin Bigham. He is a former Ole Miss player, and he is a current high school football coach at Cabot High School. Guys, we appreciate y'all coming on. We're going to just try to get the Ole Miss side of things, kind of what y'all are feeling about the game, your season, just kind of get the pulse of the Ole Miss fan base. Justin, we'll start with you. Kind of tell us about your background playing for Ole Miss and kind of how all that came about.
Yeah. So it's kind of a weird deal. So both my parents went to the University of Arkansas. From originally from Helena. My dad played on the '94 team the first year there in the SEC and won the SEC Western Championship ring and went to the Carquest Bowl, all that kind of stuff. So I grew up a huge Arkansas fan, and then had the opportunity to go play in college. And well, I thought I was going to go to Arkansas. And then Coach Nutt went to Ole Miss, and I ended up going over to Ole Miss and just really enjoyed my time over there. And very fortunate I got to do that. And it's kind of a weird deal when we were going on vacations when I was little. My parents wouldn't even stop in the state of Mississippi because they didn't want to put their feet down. And then I went to Ole Miss to play, and my parents are probably bigger fans than me now. So my dad played for Arkansas, so they're huge Ole Miss fans. So
That's cool. Um, Josh, kind of tell us about kind of the feelings going into the year. Y'all had a great year last year. I mean, by most standards, I know a lot of people thought you should have went to the playoffs, came up a little bit short, but losing Jackson Dart and a lot of those studs on defense. Kind of talk to me about the outlook that kind of the Ole Miss fan base looks at going into this year.
Well, any Ole Miss fan, if they're going to be honest with you, they will tell you that 8-4 will be an acceptable season this year. If they're honest, losing the entire defense that we lost, losing all the receivers we lost, losing Dart and the offensive line we lost, anybody would tell you that 8-4 would be a successful year. However, with me saying that, Kiffin's raised the bar at Ole Miss. He's raised the bar, and the expectation is we should compete for a playoff spot most every year, if not every year. The way last year ended, 10-3, probably should have won those 3 games we lost. If we're being honest with ourselves, we should have won those. We're running back away from winning them, and just the way that ended, and it was a disappointing year. Even though by Ole Miss standards, everybody should be really happy with the results. It was disappointing. But anybody that says 8-4 is unacceptable this year, they're fooling themselves. Now, my expectations, we should win 10 games, but 8-4 with a new quarterback and entire new defense and all the new transfers we have, any Ole Miss fan deep in their heart would say, hey, that's a good year. We expect to load up and make another run at the playoffs next year.
Justin, so coming from the football coaching side of things, after watching the first 2 games for Ole Miss, they beat Georgia State and Kentucky. Kind of what have you seen on the field that you like, and where do you think they need to improve at?
yeah, I think losing Dart, obviously, and all the firepower that they had is a big deal. I think they did a good job in the portal getting some things. Obviously, not near the names that we had at the beginning of last year. But I think Simmons, he stepped in last year at Georgia, and everybody thought, oh no, this is going to be bad, and went right down the field. And he's a really, really good quarterback, but I mean, he's a young kid, so he's just gotten his first two starts, real meaningful playing time where people are counting on him, and I think he's done a really good job. But there are some growing pains for sure, and I think the coaches do a really good job of putting them in situations to have some success, And so I think they've done a good job. The Georgia, the Georgia State game, you're going to play a bunch of athletes there. It is it's not a power program by any means whatsoever. So I thought that was a good start off. But then right out of the gate, you're playing Kentucky, who, we won that game last year, and that's a whole different season. So being able to fight the adversity, and Kentucky always does a good job trying to slow everything down. So if you look at, I think Austin Simmons only had 24 attempts throwing the ball last week, anyways, which is not a ton of plays. So you're not going to get a lot of possessions with those guys. So I think they do a good job on that. But as far as the first 2 games, I thought he's done a good job. Just need to take care of the ball. Obviously, you got to have it to score. So I think he's sitting around 3. I think he has 3 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. So those things add up, and in close games you can't do that. So
And Josh is kind of same thing. Kind of what have you seen from Simmons? Where do you think he kind of stacks up in the SEC tiers of quarterbacks? And he's somebody you think that can kind of get you out of that 8 or 9 win mark, or are y'all kind of worried about it?
I think time everything's said and done with Simmons, he's going to be a really, really good SEC quarterback. Really good. I'm not going to say exactly how good I think he'll be, but I think he's going to be really good. I don't think there's a throw on the field he can't make. We noticed that when we played Georgia State. He's got a bullet. He's incredibly accurate. He pitched for the baseball team 2 years ago through mid 90s, and I think he threw 14 innings, and all the fans thought he should be a starter because he was the best pitcher we had 2 years ago. But he's real smart. He's already graduated. He's 19 and has already graduated college, so he's real smart. Unlike Dart, when he takes off and runs the ball, he's looking for a place to slide. He's not going to take an unnecessary hit where Dart would be looking to run over somebody. He's really smart. Like Justin said, he's thrown 4 interceptions, but 2 of those ain't his fault. 2 of those he was getting mauled as he was throwing the ball, and it was just a lame duck he was hit as he's thrown, and that's one of our weaknesses on offense, a right guard position. And the other 2 was just one of them was a bad snap. He just picked it up and heaved it. He rushed it. The other one against Georgia State, he locked on the receiver, and it's strictly his fault. But I think when it's all said and done, he's going to be special. Right now, he's a 3 outcome guy, and I think the band's going to play every time he throws the ball. It's either going to be a touchdown, a first down, or an interception. But when it's all said and done, I think he's going to be special.
Nice. I was going to ask, this game has been pretty close in the Pittman-Kiffin era. Other than last year, I think their receiver's still running down Dixon, scoring touchdowns. But a lot of the games have seemed to be when Ole Miss pulls away or Ole Miss, pulls it out. They're pretty reliant on big plays, and it feels like Arkansas has done a pretty good job, and we've been able to keep it. If we can get Ole Miss to the red zone, we can either keep them out of the end zone or keep it a lot closer. Is this team built more on like big plays, you feel like, or is it pretty even keeled across the board? That could be for either one of you.
Go ahead, Josh.
I think our receiving core can be the best group in the country. We've got some really good receivers out there, and there's big play potential there. And I think, unlike last year, we have a running back this year in Kewan Lacey. It was a guy we tried to sign 2 years ago out of high school. He went to Missouri. I told some people around me, don't panic. We'll get him out of the portal. That's sort of how things work these days. You don't get your guy, just sit back a year and get him. So we do have a running game. Our big players are going to have to be in the passing game, though. Running the ball between the tackles is a struggle right now between the tackles. You'll see Saturday night that their best runs are going to be outside, and Kiffin's going to try to scheme it to get outside just because of the weakness that they have inside. But there is big play potential with our receivers. We've got some guys who can go, led by Trey Wallace. We got Deuce Alexander from Wake Forest. He can really fly. Caden Lee returns from last year. He's a great receiver. Did not have a drop last year. He was big on that drive against Georgia when Simmons had to come in. He converted a big 4th down on that drive. But the big play potential is there, and it's all RPO based. Most of it is, and there's big plays to be had in the passing game, and we seem to be pretty efficient at it.
Yeah, I'd have to second that. So I think obviously with the Kiffin offense and the things they do, there's always a chance, and I think that's what makes them hard to defend. Is they're going to stretch you horizontally and vertically you're going to have to defend the entire field. And I think they have some good weapons around them. I do think we're a lot deeper running back wise, but I think a big, and Austin Simmons is going to be good. I agree. I think he's a good quarterback right now. I do think he's going to be really, really good. I think people forget. I mean, he's 6'4", 215. And he doesn't run like Josh said. He doesn't run to run people over. But there's plenty of quarterback design runs they have for him. And then in the portal, they went and got Trinidad Chambliss too. And I love that guy. I mean, he's 6 foot 200. He was a no-star coming out of high school, went to Ferris State. Last year he accounted for 51 touchdowns. I mean, he rushed for 26 or 25 and threw for 26, rushed for over 1,000 yards. So I think you got a good option there if you have to have a quarterback run. And Coach Kiffin made that comment after the Kentucky game. Austin's ready to go. I just wanted to run and give him the opportunity to do that. And so I think to be able to have that trust in those guys is a big deal. And coaching wise, I think anytime that you have to account for the quarterback on design runs, you're going to plus them somewhere. So whether that's in the box or on the perimeter, you have to add somebody to the box to account for that guy. If you're not doing that, specifically in high school, if you're not running the quarterback or if he's not a threat, you're saying that we're collectively better with 10 guys than 11, specifically in the box. And so I think that's a big deal, and I think they do a good job making sure they'll be taking advantage of that stuff. So
Talk about the defensive side of the ball. That's kind of where Arkansas feels good right now. Taylor Green, obviously, competition's not been great, but he leads the country in touchdown passes. And he's had a really good first 2 games. Petrino's kind of got his system in year 2 running. Um, Razorback fans, for the most part, think they're going to be able to score some points Saturday night. Kind of talk about your defense and how y'all feel about this matchup coming in from that side of the ball. Josh, you go first.
Well, I think our defense is pretty good. I mean, obviously, I got a bulldog trying to jump my lap. Obviously, we're not as good as we were last year, and that was a generational defense we had last year. But defensively, I think we're pretty good. I like our front guys. Our defensive line are all Mississippi guys, come out of the high school ranks. They're all really young, redshirt freshmen or sophomores, and they're going to be really good. Our linebackers are really good. Our weakness is going to be on the back end in the secondary. Coming out of spring practice, I believe nine of the guys playing in the secondary right now were not on the team in the spring practice or were hurt. So they are late portal additions or guys who were hurt in the spring. And that does appear to be our biggest weakness. But I think up front, we're going to be pretty good. We can hold our ground pretty good. Our linebacker play is really good right now. Just exploiting the back end is going to be key to big plays. And there's big plays to be had there, I do believe.
Yeah, I agree. I think, like Josh said, I think last year we had a generational defense that was kind of unheard of, and there's some big names out there. I mean, you can look at the draft; there was a bunch of guys taken, and so again, I think they've done a good job bringing in good pieces. But anytime you add pieces like that, it takes a little bit of time to gel all those guys together. But Coach Golding's one of the best defense coordinator, and so we're privileged to have him. So I know they'll put them in the right spots.
Just kind of talk about just Arkansas, from y'all's perspective. These games have been crazy. If you can go back to the 7 overtime game, the Henry Hunter or Hunter Henry heave. You can go to, we had 2 overtimes a couple years ago down there in Oxford. KJ Jefferson went down there, and I mean, you can just go on and on. Was it 5-6 years ago? Y'all ranked number 8 in the country and came to Fayetteville, and we beat y'all 30-0. Just weird stuff happens. Last year, y'all just score 80 on us, whatever it was. Weird things happen in Ole Miss Arkansas games. From the Arkansas perspective, we kind of expect that. Like, we think that this is always going to, for the most part, be a competitive game, even if we're a little better than y'all or you're better than us. Just kind of talk about how your fan base kind of looks at this game. Obviously, Mississippi State's the big rival, but how do y'all perceive the Arkansas game most years with as competitive as it's been? The last 15 years, the Hogs have won 8, Ole Miss has won 7. It's as equal as can be. So how do y'all kind of look at the Arkansas program and game as a whole?
Well, I view it as just when you think you've seen everything, prepare yourself for something you could never imagine happening in a football game is going to happen. We were up 31-7 one night in 17 at halftime. Felt good about it. Got beat 38-37. So just when you think you've seen it all in this game, it's you just prepare yourself. Traditionally, Arkansas has not been a good matchup for Ole Miss on paper. It is not just, when y'all had Bielema there and line up and run the football out of the eye, and then it just was not a good matchup for an undersized defense, which traditionally is what Ole Miss has had. But now it's, we've got pretty good players now. We feel like we should win the game Saturday night, just being honest with you. Now, I know the spread's like at 8 right now. I think it's going to be really uncomfortable for a majority of the game, and something's going to have to happen at the end for us to win. It's not going to be like it was last year. If it is, I'll be completely shocked. But when us two get together, we generally expect a good, close, competitive game, and then a couple of things that's going to come out of nowhere that you can't imagine, like, punt going over the punter's head. That wouldn't surprise me if we saw something like that. Just something that you cannot wrap your mind around what physically happened. That physically happened in a football game.
Yeah, I think obviously Mississippi State's everybody knows Ole Miss Mississippi State's a big one, and then LSU is another big rivalry. But Arkansas, I mean, I'm a little biased because I'm from Arkansas, and then the whole Coach Nutt leaving Arkansas or going to Ole Miss and that kind of stuff. So it's a big one. And I still coach in Arkansas, so if Ole Miss loses, I have to hear about it for an entire year. So, and so it's a big one to me. I agree, though. It's always you never know what's going to happen. You never feel comfortable about it. I think the points on it is like 59.5 or something. And it could very well be, a 42-35 or a 42-40 game, or it could be, 21-17. You really never know. I do think being this early in the season, and you can go from junior high football through the NFL, week 0 and week 1, special teams are going to be a big deal. Special teams win and lose games in early in the season. So I think that's a huge, huge deal. Ole Miss's Jake Schoonover is the special teams coordinator. He's also assistant head coach. I mean, he does a really, really good job with that stuff, and it's a big emphasis for us. So I think they do a really good job on special teams. But like I said, early in the season, taking care of the football and special teams is a huge deal for sure.
So obviously Lane's kind of put Ole Miss on the map. I mean, Hugh Freeze did a good job, but Lane's really taken it to the next level. I think he flirted with Auburn maybe a couple years ago, if I remember right. Kind of what y'all's pulse on Lane? You think this, is this a destination job for him, or do you think he'll bounce if he gets a chance? Or I mean, are y'all completely happy with him? I mean, I know Josh couple that was 2 years ago. I know you're going kind of back and forth, kind of almost wishing he would have went to Auburn. Just kind of talk to me about y'all's feelings for Lane and kind of where he has a program.
And let me kind of piggyback on that, because it kind of has to do with one of my questions too. Is just so, yeah, both your thoughts on Lane, but then Lane and Sam Pittman got hired same year, same offseason. So, and a lot of people in the Arkansas camp think we were pretty close to getting Lane Kiffin before he, they came up with some money and he went to Ole Miss. But, what do you think that Lane's been able to do to kind of elevate Ole Miss to a place where you're kind of in the playoff conversation still in November, and we're kind of still lacking there when they've both had with COVID, NIL, and transfer portal kind of all at the same time. So just piggybacking on Kelby's original question there, but take it away.
Well, and at the end of 22, there's no doubt he flirted with Auburn, and I think he was 99% gone, and there was no doubt about it. And Chris Lowe was somebody, he runs everything through on ESPN. He put out a tweet that Lane's probably going to sign with Auburn, and it's going to be due to the lack of NIL money at Ole Miss. Well, from that moment on, then NIL money is flowed in. I mean, he gets what he wants there. The budget's there. He gets what he wants. It's a perfect fit right now because he can come to Ole Miss and do what he wants to. He needs it. He asked for it. He gets it. He can bring his dog on the sideline during the games. It's just a perfect fit, and nobody's going to question him because he's winning. I think the last 28 games were 23-5, and that's the third most wins over that period of time in the SEC, right behind Georgia and maybe Alabama. May not be Alabama now, but we're on a pretty good trail. But at the end of 22, it all started up there in Fayetteville when we come up there and I think we had 727 yards offense that night and got beat by 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, we dog-walked y'all that night.
It was embarrassing. And then we had the Mississippi State game we lost that year and went to a bowl game, and it was just a total debacle. He went for every fourth down. You down 35 points and looking around, and you got the better team, and just a total debacle. At that time, people were like, if you're going to go to Auburn, go. Just go, good riddance. Now, as far as him leaving right now, I think if he leaves, it will be for an NFL job. I think with what Ole Miss is paying, their money is up there with what Ohio State's paying Ryan Day. He's got a top 10 salary in the country. He's got everything he needs. He's got the NIL funding he needs. I mean, I don't know where else he could go and just be handed everything you need without any questions asked. I think it's just a perfect match right now, and like I said, I think it's for the NFL. And with all his off the field antics, a lot of places ain't gonna put up with that. So it's sort of all working out pretty good in Ole Miss's favor right now.
Yeah. So I think we're fortunate to have him. I don't know, being a coach too, though. They're yearly deals. You never know, So he's here this year. You never know what the offseason is going to hold. You never know who's going to come calling. And one thing I do think, and Coach Freeze is at Auburn now, and I think obviously any job in the SEC is a good job. I think Auburn's a really a tough one because Auburn thinks they're Alabama and they're not Alabama. I think Ole Miss does a really good job of, like Josh started off by saying, if we were 8-4 this year, hey, that's a pretty good year for us, and Kiffin has elevated that, but you go 8-4 at Auburn and you're on the hot seat, you go 8-4 at some of these places and they're like, well, that's not what you're getting paid to do. And so I think, and that fact is that we want to be competitive. We want to have a chance to win a national championship, but we also understand it takes time. There's rebuilding years. And so I think he's doing a good job. I don't know if he's gonna be there next year, if he's gonna be there for 10 years. Like Josh said, I think he's, he gets what he wants. And that's really all you can do from the university standpoint is, if you ask, we're going to do everything in our ability to make sure you have it. Now with that, we expect to win too, and so I think any coach worth his salt though wants the expectation to win. So, I can't answer the question as far as do we think he's going to leave? I don't know. I'll let you know in January.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I envision, Florida maybe coming open, Alabama maybe coming open again.
yeah.
And he's always got his name floating, with
Well,
those
and I think
jobs.
that's I think those are historic programs. Those are you never know in somebody's mind if they're thinking, hey, that's the job that I would want regardless. You don't know what people are thinking on that. I know he's got a good gig where he's at right now, and we, especially now with NIL and transfers, the money's right, and he's built a pretty cool culture, and his off field antics are funny, and I do think it helps it, and it also helps that he's winning. So like Josh said, they might not put up with that everywhere, but I think Ole Miss kind of embraces it. I do think that goes over a lot better when you're winning football games. Winning seems to solve a lot of things. So, but with NIL and transfer portal now, anybody has a chance, to win. So, and I think he's built a pretty good brand since he's been there that people want to come play for. So.
Well, I can speak. An Alabama staffer who was on staff with him at Alabama has come out very publicly and said he's not burned bridges at Alabama. He's nuked some bridges the way he left. So he's 100% convinced that Alabama will never be an option for him. So I guess time will tell on that. But the Florida rumors are about to start. They're going to start pretty fast, and they're going to be hot and heavy for a while.
All right, Andrew, you got any more?
I think let's get some predictions going. What do
Yeah.
y'all think's gonna happen on Saturday? Give me your breakdown, your score.
I'll just be honest with you. As a Hog fan, and everybody, all four of us, kind of, even Josh, not having as many Arkansas ties anymore, he kind of knows the heartbreak of being a Razorback fan. I think it's going to come down to last possession or two. I do. I don't know what's going to happen, and maybe whichever quarterback can make a play. We're all really high on Taylor Green right now, so we'll find out. We'll know Saturday if he's legit, or if it's just been a lack of competition thing. But obviously, I'll leave my prediction for later in the pod. But man, I'll be shocked if it's not a come down to the last possession or two. Or I don't think what happened last year will happen again. It may. I don't think it will. I know Sam's been very public this week that that was very embarrassing for them. Travis Williams, our defensive coordinator, was embarrassed. We don't have hardly anybody on the secondary that was here last year, so they're not embarrassed by it. But I think there's gonna be a pride factor for the Hogs. So I think it's gonna be a great game. I'm excited. But I'll let y'all two give us a score prediction and a non-homer score prediction.
Non-homer. Holy smokes. All right, go ahead, Josh.
Well, to me, I think it's going to be a game about like it was 2 years ago. I think Ole Miss won 27-20. I think it's going to be a one-possession game in some form or fashion, and about that score, 27-20 or something like that. I just think the Ole Miss defense is pretty good, and I think they can combat. I know y'all are really good on offense. I think they can combat that some. I do think y'all are not as good on defense as Ole Miss is, and I think we'll be able to score some points. And the general consensus around here, a lot of people think Ole Miss is going to be able to score a bunch of points Saturday. I don't necessarily see that being the case. I think it's going to be uncomfortable for Ole Miss fans for a majority of it, but I think at the end we'll probably win by about one possession, just something comfortable and a late pick or something to seal the game. Gosh, I hope we end up, driving down the field to score, to tie it and go for two again, something like that. That's just stressful. But I do think it'll be something like 27-20.
Yeah, I think it'll be a close game, like Josh said, for most of the game. Arkansas, obviously, coaches do a really good job of inspiring their guys to go play, and I don't think you need to say too much after last year. I mean, it was one-sided for sure. So, but 2 years ago, it was that way. I remember freaking sitting in the stands there with Andrew, and it was freezing cold, and Ole Miss was supposed to blow them out, and there's people screaming in my face talking about how bad Jackson Dart is. So, that stuff, I think that was a big factor coming back this year, going back up there. And for him to go back to that stadium where he had that many picks and to come light it up. And so I do think it'll be close. I think something that gives Ole Miss the advantage is, we have played an SEC opponent, and so we have played, I feel like, two better teams than Arkansas has played. Alabama A&M and Arkansas State it is what it is, and so I think this will be a little bit of not a shock. They're college football players, but it'll be the first time they've seen true SEC speed and the speed of the game. So I think Ole Miss has the advantage on that. I think it'll be close. I'm gonna say it'll be 31-24. 31-24 Ole Miss. So.
All right, guys. Well, we appreciate you guys coming on. It's been really, really good to get y'all's insight and y'all's perspective from the Ole Miss side. Andrew?
Yeah. Appreciate you guys coming on. I will ask one more question. It's a night game in Oxford. What's the crowd? I mean, obviously the Grove is like the highlight of the day for most Ole Miss fans. So what can we expect from a crowd perspective at nighttime in Oxford?
I can just tell you, our perception is that the Vaught Hemingway's a dump. That's an Arkansas pretty popular fan opinion, and that the atmosphere is never just wild.
Well, normally we play Arkansas at 11 o'clock. It's not normally a big game for us, so, or we have to play in Little Rock or something. So I think 6 p.m. I think it'll be a good crowd. People do enjoy the Grove, and if you've ever been there, there's a good reason, and so sometimes it's hard to get them out of there, and then depending on what the game is like, sometimes people find their way back to the Grove, and it's easy walking distance down to the square too from there. So, but I think it'll be a good environment for sure. I mean, it's a conference game. It's the first night game there at the stadium this year, so I think it'll be good.
I agree. I think it's going to be a full house. Student section is going to be rocking. It's going to be a good environment. It's going to be a party environment. They call it party in the SIP. So
that's right.
It's going to be fun.
All right. Well, we appreciate you guys again, and I would say good luck, but I'd be lying to y'all. So, anyways, appreciate you guys, and y'all have a good one.
Yeah.
Thank you. Howdy toddy.
Howdy toddy.
I'm editing that out. All right, so we'll get to our betting picks now. This is our segment of the show where we go over all of our betting and our straight up pick 'em picks. All right, week 3 against the spread or totals bets. Your boy went 2-3 last week, better than 0-5. That's like
Yeah.
that's a
That's improvement.
200% improvement. Everybody will take 200% improvement, right?
Yeah.
And you went 1-4 last week, so you still got a nice little lead on me.
Yeah.
Boy,
Yeah.
I hope people aren't telling them my picks because you'd be having trouble feeding your kids if you were if you were betting my picks. But let me tell you something. I was up 14 units in NFL on Sunday.
Okay.
So I had an unbelievable Sunday. So maybe I need to hone in on NFL picks on the Never Yield pod for the people.
There you go.
To get some cash in their pocket. But anyways, so obviously these lines may change from what you see on Friday when you're watching this. But my first one is I'm buying the Hogs. I'm just buying it. I think not only we cover, I think we win outright. You would think after 38 years of being a Razorback fan, I would know better than to say that we should go into Oxford and win. But yeah, I mean, the line opened at 9.5. I actually bet it 9.5, so I've got a plus 9.5 in my pocket.
Okay.
But it's down to 7.5 as we're filming this, so I'll give you all the 7.5. Iowa State and Arkansas State, which is crazy. The Cyclones are going to Jonesboro this
I couldn't
weekend.
believe
I'm going under 55.5. Iowa State traditionally plays a slow style of football. And then their defense is really, really good. It's better than the Hogs. And you saw what the Hogs defense did to ASU on last Saturday. So I'll be shocked if ASU gets to 7, maybe 10 points. So, a score like 40-10 would get us under the 55.5 in the Iowa State Arkansas State game. I'm going Vandy plus 4.5. Talked about that earlier in the pod. I also think they went outright against South Carolina. I'm going Clemson minus 3. Boy, my boys from Clemson have been they've had some bold predictions. Yeah. So I think they bounce back. I think Dabo gets them fired up. They got Georgia Tech. They need to get it right. They need to get it right quick. So I'm going to keep riding until they get it right. Then I'm going Cal plus 2.5. They got the Golden Gophers of Minnesota. And man, I like PJ Fleck, row the boat. They got an Arkansas boys quarterback. One of the Lindsey boys is starting quarterback for the Gophers. But I've seen too many times these East Coast teams or even Central Time Zone teams go out to the West Coast or vice versa. It messes with them. And so, it's a long travel. They don't always get up to play. The atmosphere at Cal will not be great. So it'll kind of be like a dead atmosphere. So I'm going with the Bears to stay within 2.5 of the Gophers.
Okay. All right. I have got Wisconsin is getting 21.5 at Alabama. I am gonna courageously pick Alabama to win, but I'm gonna have Wisconsin cover the 21.5.
You were not impressed by the beatdown of UL Monroe, huh? That Alabama gave them.
Not doing enough for me. But yeah, I'll take Alabama to win closer than the experts think. I'm taking Pitt and the points over West Virginia. They're getting 6.5, so I'm going to take Pittsburgh. West Virginia did not look good. They were one of my bad beats last week, so losing to Ohio. So I'm taking Pitt and the points at 6.5. South Florida, my Bulls.
Boy, keep riding them.
I'm going to ride them. I want to pick them outright. I don't know if I'm confident enough to do that, but I'm going to have them cover the 16.5 that they're getting at Miami. Give me South Florida to cover again.
If they beat Miami, they should be the number 1 ranked team in the country.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Like
they won't do it. They should be top 5 for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
And then I've got the Fighting Dowell Loggins of Appalachian State They're only they're getting 1.5 points at Southern Miss. So I'm gonna take the Dow Loggins, who may be on our coaching radar if they have a great year this year. And then give me LSU on the points versus Florida. I'm just gonna keep beating up Florida and take LSU and the points at home. Give me the Tigers as much as I would love Brian Kelly to lose, but
Yeah,
this week I'll take.
that one's dangerous.
I think it might be.
That one's dangerous. So there's our picks right there. We will now go on to our straight up picks.
All right.
Found some more good graphics of your boys looking our best.
Absolutely.
Both went 6-2 last week in our straight up college game day style picks.
Yeah.
I think I had I can't remember who I missed now. We both missed Arizona State. We had Arizona State beat Mississippi State.
Yep. And you had Florida beating South Florida.
That's right. You had Michigan beating Oklahoma.
And I had Michigan beating Oklahoma. If I'd have just gone my gut and gone Oklahoma.
All right, week 3 picks. Talk us through them.
Yep. So here's our week 3 picks. First up, we got number 12 Clemson struggling, going to Georgia Tech. Clemson's getting 7.5. Kelby, who you got?
Well, so I got the Tigers. See, that line's moved to 3, and so
Okay.
there's been a lot of Georgia Tech money come in. A lot of people are on Georgia Tech, and man, y'all, if y'all listen to the earlier pods, you know that I picked Clemson to win the Natty, and nothing makes it sweeter than when you face a little adversity early in the year and you don't look great. And so hopefully they've gotten that adversity out of the way and they go and spank the Yellow Jackets.
Okay. I wanted to pick Georgia Tech, and I had them in my graphic there. And right before I sent it to you today, I went with Clemson just because they need it. They gotta get a good win to get a good start in the ACC. So I'm going Clemson. I didn't know that it had moved to 3. That's that's happened today then. So yeah. All right. Next up, we got Wisconsin going to number 19 Alabama. Bama getting 21.5. Who you got?
Roll Tide. No, I just don't know. Wisconsin, man, it's not. What's old boy's name at Wisconsin that went from Cincinnati? Luke Fickell.
Yeah.
It's not. I don't feel like it's going great for old Luke up there. I know a couple Wisconsin fans from other pods that I listen to, and they're not high on the year. They think they're going to get boat race Saturday.
Okay.
I'm not betting the game either way. I don't trust Alabama, but yeah, I'm gonna go Roll Tide.
Okay. I too am going Alabama to win, but I've got Wisconsin covering the 21.5 spread. So give me Wisconsin the points, but give me Alabama to straight up win. And that takes us into number 18, my South Florida Bulls going to Miami. Number 5, Miami. Miami getting 16.5. Who are you going with?
I'm gonna go with the U, but I think it's closer than the experts think. 16.5 that's a crazy line for a team that's done what they've done early in the season. The Bulls. I can't. What's his name? Golish? Is that the coach for South Florida?
Yes.
I can't think of. But boy, he's about to get a big time job.
Oh, for sure.
After this year, he
might have should have just stayed in Gainesville.
Yep. He may just be moving down the street.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go with the U to kind of show South Florida that they're good, but let's come back down to earth a little bit.
Okay. All right, this is another one. I had South Florida in there again. I was like,
I'm
gonna do it, and then last second I switched to Miami. It's hard for a team like that to do it 3 weeks in a row on the road. So I went ahead and went with the U, but I do think it's going to be closer than the experts think. That takes us to One of our games of the week, number 16, Texas A&M heading to South Bend, Indiana to take on number 8, Notre Dame. Notre Dame getting 6.5. Who you got?
Man, I'm going with the Fighting Irish only because they lost to Miami. If they had came in 2-0, I think I would have went with the Aggies. But I feel like they have little room for error. I think they're going to be extreme sense of urgency. I'm a huge Marcus Freeman guy, and so I think the Fighting Irish take care of the Aggies.
Okay. Big revenge game. Notre Dame went into Kyle Field last year and came out with a close win. A&M's going to be looking for blood in this one, but I picked Notre Dame strictly for the fact that I've still got 2 tickets for sale to the Notre Dame game, and I need those to be as valuable as possible. So they can't have 2 losses going into the game. So give me Notre Dame to beat A&M.
Did you see the kid? I think it was an A&M player. They asked him if he had seen the movie Rudy, and he's like, I don't even know what you're talking about. What's it called? They're like, Rudy. He's like, never heard of it.
See, that's what's wrong with kids these days.
What a shame.
They need to see Rudy. But our next game is our sneaky game of the week. We got Vanderbilt heading to Columbia, South Carolina to take on the number 11 Gamecocks. South Carolina's getting 5.5. Who you got?
You got the fighting Diego Pavias. I'm not high on South Carolina. If South Carolina, they should beat, if they're ranked number 11 in the country, they should beat Vanderbilt at home. Simple as that. So we'll find out if they're really that good. But I'm not high on the Gamecocks. I'm not a Shane Beamer guy. I'm going with the fighting Clark Lees and Vandy.
All right. I probably would have picked Vandy if we wouldn't have been the same through 4 picks, but I had to go against you to get us some leverage here. So I'm going South Carolina. I do think Lenore Sellers can have a big game this week at home. Had this game been in Nashville, I probably would have picked Vanderbilt, but I'm going Gamecocks at home. But probably pretty close. May come down to the last possession.
Speaking of South Carolina, do you see that Rocket Sanders scored a touchdown Sunday for the Cleveland Browns?
I did not see that.
Yeah, Rocket.
I didn't know that he made the final roster.
Yeah, Rocket. He didn't only make the roster. He scored maybe the first touchdown of the season for the Browns. First or second.
Wow.
So
did not know that.
Props to Rocket. Obviously I'm not, he transferred out of Arkansas, so I'm not going to call him former Hog, even though he technically is, but good for Rocket. Good for Rocket.
Yeah. Well done. I got it. This helmet right here is signed by Rocket Sanders himself. So maybe it'll be worth some money one day. All right. We got Florida going to Death Valley to take on the number 3 LSU Tigers. LSU getting 7.5. Who you got?
I'm going with the Tigers, but I wanted to pick the Gators. This is just a prime sleepy letdown spot against a team who should be hungry. But I just can't quite get there with the Gators yet. I'm gonna go with the Tigers, but Garrett Nussmeier, as good as he is, he's got like a third of the touchdowns that Taylor Green has, maybe, if that. So he better get his little act together, or they'll get beat.
Yeah. I'm taking the Tigers too. I had Nussmeier's my Heisman preseason Heisman pick, so I'm gonna have him step it up and have a big game this weekend and kind of propel towards that end of the season run. Next up, the College Game Day game of the week. We got number 6 Georgia heading to Knoxville to take on the number 15 Tennessee Volunteers. Georgia getting 3.5. Who you got?
I'm going with the Dogs. I don't love it. I really struggled with this pick. I'm not sure how good they are. I think their offense is bad. But I don't know. I'm going with a better coach.
Yep. Yeah. Typically that's what I would do. But Georgia has not looked as great as I want them to, and Tennessee, I think, might be better than we thought they might be. So, I'm taking the Vols at home. It's Gunnar Stockton's first big start on the road. It's obviously going to be a crazy environment. College game day is in Knoxville, so yeah, I'm taking the home team and taking the Vols. And then that takes us to our game, Arkansas rolling into Oxford, taking on the number 17 Rebels. Ole Miss getting 6.5 or 7.5, depending on which book you look at. Who you got?
Woo pig, baby. Man, I think Taylor Green needs to have a coming out party, and I think Taylor will put up numbers. But what I need to see is him take us down the field in the fourth quarter when we need points and lead a game-winning drive.
Yeah.
That's the next step for Taylor Green, I think, for this team to get over the top. I don't have any doubt that he's going to be able to put up decent numbers Saturday. I think our defense needs to play well. Secondary's got to keep everything in front because the injury report came out today, and Luke Has is playing. So you know how Lane is. He's going to try to get Luke Has a touchdown, if not a couple of them. So our defense needs to continue to get better. I'm still tiptoeing on the defense until I see it against an SEC opponent.
Yeah.
And then we just got to start fast. As dumpy as Vaught Hemingway is, as kind of boring as their crowd is, it's never really hype in there. They do have a good atmosphere in terms of turning off the lights, doing drum shows, getting people fired up. So we need to start fast and shut them up. And if we can come out and get the crowd out of the game quick, and I think also just for our confidence, like if we can score early and get a stop, be like, all right, yeah, we do belong. So yeah, going with the Hogs.
All right. Preseason, I had us losing this one, but I'm feeling it. Give me all the Kool-Aid. I'm taking Arkansas to win. Give me the headgear, put on. I'll take Arkansas to get this one. I think Taylon's playing great. I am a little concerned. We had the first 2 weeks we didn't have any spies on him. Nobody was spying him just because I think the lesser competition needed as many bodies in coverage as possible. But he was able to obviously throw the ball well against that too. So yeah, I want to see how he does. If I anticipate Ole Miss is going to spy on him a little bit. Let's see if he can do it. And then I would like to see a fourth quarter game winning drive. You know, he had the opportunity in week 2 last year against Oklahoma State. Missed a couple throws. We came up short in that one. So I'd like to see us take it in the fourth, or just let's blow them out and make it easy. Make it a fun little Saturday. But yeah, we'll see. Just excited to see us go up against a real squad and kind of get a better feel for what we've got and yeah, let's lay it out there.
Yeah, Sam needs to he needs this one to build momentum because it can snowball one way or the other. A win, a loss can turn into 1 or 2 either way. So bold prediction. I think the Hogs win 38-30. I think it's a high scoring affair. I think Taylor has probably 250 through the air, maybe 70 on the ground. They're gonna have a spy on him. He's not gonna run wild. Get 3 touchdowns. I will be betting on Mike Washington anytime touchdown bet this week. I think Mike gets in the end zone. So that is kind of where we're at with the bold predictions. And man, I'm just a little giddy because I feel good.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 38-34 Hogs, and I'll take 3. Give me 3 touchdowns for Taylor, 2 for Mike Washington. Is that math? I think so.
That's mathing. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
All right. Man, I want to thank everybody for listening again to the Ole Miss preview. I want to thank Josh and Justin for coming on, giving us great insight from the Ole Miss perspective. Continue pounding that like button, that follow button. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, still working on TikTok, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts.
Yeah.
Check out the Never Yield Pod. Tell a friend for us.
Yes. All the things that you don't care about that we do, just, you can help us out for free. Just like, follow,
That's right.
share, any of the above, and listen. We appreciate you listening. So,
That's right. Absolutely. Take us home, brother.
all right. Stay classy, never yield, and woo pig.
Go Hogs.